This particular man established a terrific record.
We're going to have to do this thing simply by the box score.
He could hit. He could run.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rickey. I'm certainly delighted with my contract.
He could field. He could throw. He could think.
And I think the conscience of America is beginning to awaken.
Those of us who are fortunate again must use in order to help others.
He was always a fierce and a hard competitor.
But we really are not going to have very many allies, and you've got to turn your cheek at every opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jackie Robinson.
I'm sure that in the immediate future, things are going to improve a great deal.
Baseball history on display tonight at Chase Field. A special presentation in the ballpark honoring Negro League legends who went on to become Major League All-Stars as baseball honors the legacy of the great man who paved the way, Jackie Robinson Day, all over the major leagues. Good evening from Chase Field and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume and Bob Brenly along the way. It's the Diamondbacks and the New York Mets, the second of a three-game series on Jackie Robinson Day. Everyone tonight wearing number 42. The D-backs have donated $4,200 to both the Jackie Robinson Foundation and the Boys and Girls Clubs. Bob, as Major League Baseball pauses to honor the memory of one of its most important players.
Without a doubt, broke the color line, obviously broke the color barrier, rather. Didn't make it to the major leagues till he was 28 years old, only had about a 9-year career, but revolutionized the way the game is played, his aggressiveness on the bases. He played multiple positions on the field, just a tremendous overall athlete and a shining example for players even to this day of how to go about your business on a baseball field.
And a very important process here for Major League Baseball. Every time we try and grow and expand the game, very important to honor the legacy and teach the youngsters out there the history of this great game. We'll do that tonight from Chase Field on Jackie Robinson Day, the Diamondbacks and the New York Mets. First pitch coming up from Chase Field. Remembering a legend when we come back. Everyone tonight wearing number 42. It's the Diamondbacks and Mets. You're watching D-backs baseball only right here on Fox Sports Arizona. box and try the new Jack's Blazin' Chicken Sandwich. It's Jack's hottest sandwich yet.
And welcome back to Chase Field. The D-backs getting set to take on the Mets in Game 2 of this 3-game series on a very special night all across ballparks in Major League Baseball, Jackie Robinson Day. Here's what D-backs pitching coach Mike Harkey had to say about the legendary Jackie Robinson.
I don't think there's anybody in this game that could ever, understand what it was he went through. I mean, some of the, the other African-American players that came in after him probably had to deal with a little bit, but nothing compared to what he had to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
It's far removed from our lives, but when you look back and just realize how uncomfortable it can be to be in a big league uniform just as a rookie, much less somebody who's coming in as the first minority ever, and then somebody telling you, you're going to have to face a ton of adversity more than anybody's ever played the game, and you're going to have to do it with a smile on your face, and he did it. It's one of the greatest achievements that's ever happened in this game.
Well, all the D-backs proudly wearing number 42 on Jackie Robinson Day. The perfect day for the D-backs to end this slide. It's Bronson Arroyo on the hill for the D-backs. When we come back on Fox Sports Arizona, Steve and Bob have the call. Got to break the slump on Jackie Robinson Day.
And everyone is 42 as the D-backs in Major League Baseball honor the great Jackie Robinson on Jackie Robinson Day, the 67th anniversary of his breaking the color barrier in 1947 with the Brooklyn Dodgers, of course, fitting BB that we play against the Mets, who have adopted the old Dodger blue as a part of their look as well.
Absolutely. A great day all around baseball since 1997. We've celebrated Jackie Robinson Day, and you've heard Mike Harkey, you've heard Bronson Arroyo. You talk to any player out there on the field right now, and the sentiments would pretty much be the same. Every time you think you're having a tough day, think what Jackie went through.
Here is the lineup for Terry Collins and the New York Mets. A couple of injured outfielders after last night's game.
Yeah, tough night for the outfield for the Mets last night. Eric Young in left. Daniel Murphy with a big night at second base. David Wright at third. Lucas Duda over at first base. 4 for 5 last night, 4 singles, a couple of runs driven in. Andrew Brown will be in right field tonight, filling in for Granderson. Kirk Neuenhuis just called up, will be playing center field. Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate. Omar Quintanilla at shortstop. And on the mound tonight, Henry Mejia for the Mets.
Eric Young Jr. steps in to lead it off against Bronson Arroyo. And we are underway from downtown Phoenix. Roof and panels open. Another beautiful spring night in the valley. 65 miles an hour from your Arizona Ford starting pitcher, Bronson Arroyo. Working on an extra day of rest after Josh Colmenter was inserted into the rotation. Third start for Bronson after a win in his previous outing. That was Wednesday in San Francisco. 3 runs on 6 hits in 5 innings to beat the Giants. High chopper. It gets over the glove of Arroyo. Nice play there by Aaron Hill, but not nice enough to get the Speedy Young, who's aboard. And EY Jr. is making his presence felt here. He was on base 4 times last night, and he's on again to open up this one.
Second time this homestand we've seen a trampoline infield base hit right off of home plate, just over the outstretched glove of Bronson Arroyo. Great effort by Aaron Hill, but Eric Young Jr. utilizing that speed to leg out an infield hit.
And you have to watch out for EY Jr. 7 for 7 in the stolen base attempts this season. Last night, a pair of singles, a walk. He scored twice and stole a base, so he's been a handful. Daniel Murphy in now. Murphy knocks that one into left for a base hit in the first pitch. First 2 have reached against Arroyo.
Murphy picks up right where he left off last night. A double, a single, scored a couple runs, also had a sac fly in the 8th inning of the ball game. Several hard hit balls off the bat of Mets hitters last night.
Daniel Murphy racking up the hits since 2012 behind only Andrew McCutchen and Martin Prado. Goldie on the list as well. David Wright on base twice last night at .231 on the year. First pitch swinging, drops it into right. Bases are full of Mets with nobody outs. 3 singles to open the ball game. I don't want to say that they're not earning these base hits here, Bob, but Arroyo is in a sense getting nickeled and dimed here.
Yeah, the trampoline hit off of home plate, an opposite field ground ball that snuck through the left side. Now a jam shot floater over the head of Aaron Hill at second base. Certainly they all count. The Mets have the bases loaded with nobody out, but it's not like they're squaring him up and driving the ball right now.
5 pitches, all strikes, 3 base hits.
It's one issue you do run into with Bronson Arroyo. He is a notorious strike thrower and doesn't miss a lot of bats. He will change speeds. He'll go slower than slow to try to get hitters out front, but doesn't possess the kind of fastball where he can just rear back and throw it by a hitter.
Lucas Duda. First pitch swinging. Goldie juggles it, recovers. They get the force at second, and they can't roll the double play as EY Jr. scores the game's first run. That little bobble by Goldschmidt initially fielding the ball probably cost them a second out.
Now, never an easy play to try to turn that 3-6-3 or 3-6-1 double play, but you're right, that slight bobble right there really hindered the chance of the Diamondbacks possibly turning a double play and escaping further damage here in this inning. If Bronson Arroyo can get this next guy out, next couple guys out. Well, watch that first pitch. Mets coming off the bench, hacking tonight.
A fielder's choice, 3-6 and an RBI for Duda. Murphy on third, Duda on first. And this is Andrew Brown, and he's swinging at the first pitch. We had an ambushable theme last night, and the Mets are jumping all over Arroyo here very early in the count.
You know, we talk about it all the time. There's so much information available as you get a look at most runs allowed in the first inning this season. Diamondbacks third on that list. Everybody has availability, all the stats. First pitch strikes, first pitch breaking balls, first pitch fastballs, first pitch in, first pitch out. And you know, you get a game plan against an opposing pitcher, especially a guy with as long a track record as Bronson Arroyo has, and occasionally a team will sense that they're better served going up there and hacking at those first couple of pitches rather than get deep in the count.
Murphy at third, Duda at first. 1-1 on Andrew Brown. Brown is in right field tonight. Curtis Granderson, who injured himself colliding with that right field wall last night, Had X-rays all negative. He's day-to-day, but not in the starting lineup. Juan Lagares, the center fielder, had a hamstring injury. He went on the DL. And Kirk Neuenhuis has been called up from AAA. He's starting in center field. That one goes to center and backs up A.J. Pollock at the track. Murphy at third. He will tag and score. Duda heads for second, and he'll make it. 2-0 New York.
Who won, me or Duda? Who won?
Center fielder number 42, Kirk Neuenhuis.
Yeah, Bronson Arroyo's been in this situation many times in his career. He has a tendency to struggle early in the ball game until he gets the right splits between his mid-80s fastball and some of his off-speed pitches. And the Mets, as we've talked about already, are determined not to let him get deep in the count when he can start using that slow breaking ball.
Strike one to Kirk Neuenhuis, his first big league look this year, just called up from AAA Las Vegas after Juan Lagares injured his hamstring last night in the series opener. Neuenhuis 10 games at AAA, was hitting .310 with a couple of home runs. Early trouble for Arroyo. Just foul.
Nobody likes to spend time in the minor leagues after you've been to the big leagues, but if you have to go to the minor leagues, Cashman Field's not a bad place to hit.
Las Vegas Nev.
Ooh, man, the wind usually howls out to center or right field. Infield gets extremely hard over the course of the season. Great place to hit.
Neuenhuis was doing a good job. 8 RBIs in 10 games. And he knocks that one into center field. Here comes Duda. He will score, and it's 3-0 Mets. RBI single for Neuenhuis in his first major league at bat this year.
Catcher number 42, Travis d'Arnaud.
That's a good meeting, even if Miguel Montero didn't say a word to Bronson Arroyo. Just try to break up the rhythm here, slow down this momentum that the Mets offense have going here in the first inning.
Well, Arroyo has an excellent track record against the Mets. 14 career starts, 8-3 with a 3.63 ERA. But he's in a 3-0 hole and still with work to do. Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher. He swings at the first pitch. Gorgeous night at Chase Field. Roof and panels open. Another Chamber of Commerce day in the Valley. 0-1 to d'Arnaud. Short way for the force on Neuenhuis, and Arroyo's out of the inning, but the Mets get 3. Diamondbacks coming up. far. They've had a couple of guys go down with injuries, but they come out attacking against Bronson Arroyo with a 3-spot in the first. And now the Diamondbacks will try and counter. Here is Kirk Gibson's lineup tonight.
Gerardo Parra at the top, followed by Martin Prado and Paul Goldschmidt. Miguel Montero showing signs of life, 3 for 3 with a double and 3 driven in last night. He'll be followed by Aaron Hill, Mark Trumbo, Chris Owings, A.J. Pollock, and the pitcher Bronson Arroyo.
Your Arizona Ford starting pitcher, Henry Mejia, third start of the season for the 24-year-old right-hander. 1-0, the ERA just over 4. He can be erratic. He's given up 10 hits and 9 walks in 11 innings, but with 15 strikeouts. So he has also shown, Bob, that he can get big league hitters out.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on a given night how he's commanding his pitches. He throws a fastball, changeup, curveball, slider combination, mostly fastball, changeup, but we'll check out his command early on in the ball game here. Unlike the approach of the Mets against Bronson Arroyo, you would expect the Diamondbacks to be fairly patient against Mejia and make him throw some pitches.
700th career major league game for Gerardo Parra. As we start off the D-backs portion of the first inning, 699 career games for Parra, 640 hits. And Mejia starts him off with a strike. It's 0-1. Parra 262 and a home run. 0 for 4 last night in the series opener. He did walk and score a run. Lifts that in the air to right center. Nice running catch there by Brown. This is what the Mets look like defensively behind Henry Mejia.
Young, Neuenhuis, Brown left to right across the outfield. We've already seen Andrew Brown make a nice running catch out there in right. It'll be David Wright at third base, Omar Quintanilla at shortstop, Daniel Murphy at second, Lucas Duda once again over at first base tonight. Youngster Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate for right-hander Henry Mejia.
Zooming in on Henry Mejia on the mound. This guy's got good stuff. The question for him in his still young career has been durability and health. He's had a lot of very serious injury issues, but when he's healthy, he's been effective. Throws a ball to Martin Prado in the 2-hole tonight. Prado hitless last night, batting 5th in the lineup. Martin Prado hit second in the order more than in any other spot last year. 41 starts there. Hit 276 in this spot last season. He's at 246 on the year. So another slight lineup shakeup, Bob, for Kirk Gibson tonight, with Aaron Hill hitting 5th and Prado with a 2-hole.
Yes, trying to find the right mix. You try to take advantage of guys that you think are possibly about to bust out, or guys who have busted out, like Miguel Montero last night, and try to bunch them together and hope it turns out to be some runs.
Broke his bat in half, right to Murphy at second. 2 down.
Oh, we have a moment. Let's take a look at our Valley Honda dealers' keys to the game. And on Jackie Robinson night around Major League Baseball, Diamondbacks have to have some courage. Tough stretch of the season right now. You're well served to follow the example that Jackie Robinson did during his playing days, and also, much like Jackie Robinson, be aggressive. You get the feeling that some of the Diamondbacks maybe are playing not to make mistakes rather than just going out and play the game and let the chips fall where they may.
Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie 333, 2 homers and 9 RBIs. It's my first game. Goldschmidt hit a home run. And go D-backs. Goldie on base 3 times last night. Had a walk, a pair of singles. He scored twice. Right to Murphy at second. 3 up and 3 down for the D-backs. We are through 1, and they trail the Mets 3-0. 25th. They're so lifelike.
It's my high school yearbook photo.
It ought to be. All fans who purchase a special Zombie Night ticket package will receive a customized D-backs Zombie Survival Kit. And that includes a drawstring bag, a t-shirt, a mini bat. And our zombies will also be able to participate in a zombie walk around the field prior to the game. Limited number of Zombie Night ticket packages available, and you only get the giveaway items through the special offer. Visit dbacks.com/events. 2-0 to Omar Quintanilla, the shortstop. Mets 4 singles in the first. They scored 3. Ditching school to watch the D-backs. Quintanilla, Mejia, Young, 8-9-1 in the New York second. Remember, Bronson Arroyo missed most of spring training with that back issue. He threw fewer than 8 innings in the spring, so he's been easing into the season. He was on a pitch limit of 90 his last time out, so he should finally be clear tonight to go as long as he can without a pitch limit. And it's bounced to second right at Aaron Hill. How about those Zombie Night pictures, BB? That's
Henry Mejia.
I don't know what to make of those. I think they got that off the driver's license.
A couple of black eyes. I've looked like that before.
Don't forget, you only get those special giveaway items through the offer. So to purchase, visit dbacks.com/events. Henry Mejia looks at a ball.
One thing to watch for tonight with Bronson Arroyo and Miguel Montero is to see the communication between the two. Talk about Bronson Arroyo throwing multiple pitches from multiple arm angles, and sometimes when you're a new catcher working with Bronson, it takes a while to figure out exactly how he likes to use all of those pitches.
Different arm angles, different speeds, everything.
Left fielder Eric Young Jr.
He's got the Jackie Robinson jersey, the Kansas City Monarchs hat. EY Jr. singled and scored to lead off the ball game. Diamondbacks rotation just right now looking for a quality start. A starting pitcher's ERA of 7.16. The next lowest is Colorado, 5.57. So there's a big gap there for the Diamondbacks at the bottom. A full 20 more earned runs allowed than the Rockies, who are next to last. This is out into left, right at Mark Trumbo, and Arroyo recovers with a nice tidy 1-2-3 second. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Coming up, the cleanup man, Miguel Montero, leads it off for the D-backs. 3-0. Henry Mejia staked to an immediate 3-0 lead, but he'll work to Miguel Montero, Aaron Hill, and Mark Trumbo, 4, 5, and 6 in the Arizona second. And here is Miggy. 3-hit night last night, including a double and 3 RBIs.
Really been making some good passes at the ball lately, hitting it hard, flied out deep to center field a couple times in the final game in that Dodger series. Finally found some holes last night.
The Miggy t-shirts, the hats, all the great gift items at Chase Field. Looks good right there. Now when she asks how does this look, the answer is always great.
Great.
But then the follow-up is, well, do you like it better than this one?
You could be there all night.
That's when you get into trouble. Yeah. So she's going to try them all on. Do you like the black or the red? See, the guy in the green shirt, he's already toast. He hasn't even realized it yet. This is... No, see, not that one. And he's like, just anyone, just pick one.
Pick a hat.
They're playing.
We're missing Miggy's at bat. Come on. Get them both.
2-1. That's what I end up saying.
Oh, yeah.
Just get them both. Well, she's trying that one on now. Backwards, to like the kids like to wear it.
You think so? Yay or nay?
Yay or nay, BB? UI Jr. has it, 1 away.
Second baseman, number 42.
4 up, 4 down for Henry Mejia. And now he'll work to Aaron Hill, batting 5th tonight. Now she got the mirror going. It's a whole process. Oh, we haven't even got to shirts yet. We're still working on hats. She wants to look like a good D-back fan, so give her credit. You know, you gotta. It's all about accessorizing, coordinating.
Sure.
Yeah. Aaron Hill 1 for 4 in last night's series opener. Slightly new look to the lineup tonight. Every start Aaron has made this year has been batting second in the order. So this is his first look at the 5-hole. Fans are decked out in Mets and D-backs gear. Is rolled to third. David Wright spins and throws. Nice scoop by Duda at first. 5 up and 5 down for the D-backs against Henry Mejia.
You can make the argument that David Wright is the third base version of Troy Tulowitzki because he rarely throws the ball over him. He's always slinging it over there, sidearm or submarine. Still gets a lot on the throw. Can get it over there off balance when he needs to, when he has to backhand a ball on that third base foul line. He can get up on top and really get some velocity on those throws, but on routine plays, he's content just to sling it over their sidearm.
There's another look.
Good body control, gets his head turned around so he picks up his target, and even though this throw is a short hop to Duda, very easy play to handle for a first baseman.
7-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove winner at third. Mark Trumbo is quickly down 0-2. Here is Mark Trumbo, the major league leader in home runs and RBIs. And we had a great time this morning down at Chloe's Corner here in downtown Phoenix, filming a Mark Trumbo episode, A Cup of Coffee. That'll be coming up shortly in a few weeks.
It's a big cup of coffee. Ooh, that one looked like it very nearly got up underneath the mask of Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate. Went down in the dirt and came up underneath that hockey-style mask. Got him in the throat. Ooh.
He had that happen to him last night in another area that was probably a little more painful. So they'll check him out.
Can you swallow? Yeah. Well, then you're all right. That's why they tell catchers in the drills in spring training and even the refresher drills during the course of the season, any ball in the dirt, chin on chest. If you really focus on putting your chin down on your chest, that mask will cover that area and not allow the ball to get up there and hit you in the Adam's apple.
The 0-2. This is out into right, Andrew Brown. Henry Mejia has retired the first 6 he has faced, and through 2, the Diamondbacks trail the Mets 3-0.
Positive, remain together, remain committed, is to just try and go out there and play the game naturally and normally, and not try to put any more emphasis on, I got to do this because of this. We've talked about the result. In fact, you need to stay at the process and not be so affected by the result.
Kirk Gibson talking about the funk his team is in our Geico quote of the game. He talked about when he was a player, he would stay at the ballpark after a tough loss when his team was scuffling before he could let it go. He says as a manager, he can't really do that. He has to fix the mistakes. No doubt about it. This team is pressing right now. And guys, one of the big reasons why is they've been behind in so many games. It just seems like it's a broken record that every player that goes up there feels he has to get his club back in the ball game with one swing, and that wears you down.
It sure does. You have to trust the process, Brad, and not. It's like spring training, I guess, Bob, because it's the same mantra there. Just go through the process and don't worry so much about the result. It's how you're going through that. Are you improving? Do you have stuff to look forward to? A sign here or there that you're digging your way out.
And understand that it took a group effort to get into this position, and it's going to take a group effort to get out of this position. I mentioned early on, occasionally it seems like guys are playing to avoid mistakes, which certainly is not what anybody wants to have happen. You want your guys to go out and play the game aggressively, have some fun, and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
A ball and 2 strikes to Daniel Murphy. That one is rolled to shortstop. Chris Owings, 1 away, 5 in a row now, retired by Arroyo. And Bronson Arroyo was talking about the D-backs rotation the other day, and along the same lines of what Kirk Gibson was just saying. You can't wait for one starter to go out there and have some lights out day that instantly turns everything around. Bronson said it doesn't work when you don't have superstars. And each guy has to go out there and do what he does best. As David Wright steps in. Two down. And Arroyo was honest about the rotation. He said, look, we have a bunch of guys who probably would be number 3 starters on a lot of teams. That's the way it is. So the starters that are here must take this season as a marathon and just be consistent as you possibly can be and let it shake out over the long haul. Don't go out there trying to suddenly be Felix Hernandez if that's not who you are. And his point being, that's only going to make things worse, and it goes along the lines of what Kirk Gibson was just saying.
And that's where the trust factor comes in. I'm going to do the best I can every night out here within my own limitations that I'm well aware of. And if you do the best you can do and you do the best you can do, hopefully it'll all fit together well enough to result in some wins. And all of a sudden you get a couple wins under your belt. Food starts to taste a little better. Ride to the ballpark isn't nearly as long. The ride home certainly nearly isn't as long. And before you know it, you're winning 12 out of 16 instead of losing 12 out of 16.
Lucas Duda backs up Goldie. Arroyo covers. And he has settled in. Bronson Arroyo is now retired the last 7 he's faced. Home half of the third on the way.
You know, you take a kid like Chris Owings, who obviously has tremendous physical gifts, and he could probably just take a normal-sized lead and steal a base whenever he wanted to in the minor leagues. But at the major league level, you have to learn the nuances. You have to learn how to read a pitcher's move. Know situations. When is a good count to run? When does this pitcher like to throw off-speed pitches? That'd be a good time to try to steal a base. And they were out here very early, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Dave McKay, the first base coach, Kirk Gibson, Henry Blanco working with Chris Owings and others over there, how to read pitchers, how to get better jumps.
You saw them pointing to that front leg on the pitcher. In that case, it was Henry Blanco in the part of the pitcher, trying to give Chris a better idea of what exactly to look for on the foot or the leg. First move, is he going home? Is he coming back to first? After Chris had been picked off a couple of times here in this homestand. But the good news there was he's on base. Another 2-hit game last night. That's 2 in a row for Chris.
There are very few ball players that get to the major league level as a finished product. There's always something that maybe needs a little tweaking, a little instruction with this, learning the nuances of the game. And it's constant teaching for Kirk Gibson and his staff. Every day there's something they need to work on. There's something the players need to work on to try to get better.
And the thing I liked about it, and watching that this afternoon, was it wasn't just the coaches. Tony Campana, who's a tremendously efficient base stealer, and A.J. Pollock were out there as well working with Chris.
Everybody can have input. I mean, you got a couple guys on the team that have had success stealing bases in the past. Maybe they've learned those lessons a little quicker than Chris Owings did. And anything you can do to help a teammate, if that's your strength, you become a coach for the day.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
We've seen a lot of that with Bronson Arroyo on days he doesn't pitch. We've taken shots at the dugout, and Brandon McCarthy or Trevor Cahill or some of the other D-backs pitchers, occasionally Mike Harkey, the coach. You'll see Bronson Arroyo holding court over there in the dugout, talking about how he pitches opposing hitters, how he goes about getting to an out pitch against a tough guy in a tough situation.
Got the dual-sided helmet. It always looks a little like the great Kazoo. Hello, dum-dum. There's the strikeout. 7 in a row set down by Mejia to open the ball game.
Center field, number 42, A.J. Pollock.
Brings up A.J. Pollock. A.J. at 228 and a home run. And that long home run to deep center field over the weekend on Zach Greinke in a pinch hit appearance. Looks at strike one. And see, that's how Met fans grow up, looking like that.
Yeah, we're at 3-0 now, but I know it's going to fall apart. I just know it.
Look at the angst. It's just, it's innate. He'll be on the phone to Steve Summers at WFAN after the ball game. Me here, you there. AJ on base twice last night, a walk and a single. He's now hit in 3 straight. And kind of a very odd platoon splits for AJ this year. In the air to right, Andrew Brown. Routine fly ball. 2 down.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every D-backs win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
Bronson Arroyo, roof and panels open. Another beautiful night. Very comfortable here at Chase Field. And Henry Mejia trying to work through the first 9 in order with 2 outs in the 3rd. Mejia won a spring training battle with Daisuke Matsuzaka for the Mets' 5th starter spot. Daisuke right now pitching in AAA Las Vegas, and he's done pretty well in 2 starts there. A 2.25 ERA. Little roller, right, steps in front of Quintanilla. And another 1-2-3 inning for Henry Mejia. He's got a 3-0 lead. And fries food stores. is ready to take you to a D-backs game. Just stop by this month's participating Cox retail store at Tempe Marketplace, and you can enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus. You get round-trip transport. D-backs game May 18. More information, foxsportsarizona.com. Get on the bus, Gus.
I wonder how many times we've actually had a Gus on the Fan Express. It seems like
it should be obligatory.
Yeah. Ought to be at least one Gus on every trip.
We can't leave until a Gus gets on board. Andrew Brown will lead it off in the 4th.
Otherwise, you'd have to make a new plan, Stan.
I see what you did there. Brown drove in a run his first time.
Bronson Arroyo's figured out a new plan since that first inning.
7 in a row.
Yeah, 7 in a row, going back to the last out of the first inning.
First pitch, center field. Boy, these guys have been super aggressive against Arroyo so far tonight. Another first pitch swinger.
Center fielder Kirk Newenice.
That becomes especially significant when you've got a left-hander up next in the order to have a runner at first base. As we've talked about, Bronson Arroyo not overpowering by any stretch of the imagination with his fastball. Throws a lot of off-speed pitches. Pretty good chance Newenice will try to pull this ball through that hole on the right side.
Well, Newenice has been a thorn in the D-backs side. This is his first game called up from AAA after Lagares went on the DL. Remember this last year? Off Chaz Rowe, 4th of July at Citi Field. That extra inning, 15-inning game, in fact, that the D-backs finally won 5-4 to finish that 10-game, 3-city road trip. And the Diamondbacks would take the lead in the top portion of the extra inning, and the Mets would then homer in the bottom portion, and we kept going for a while there. Well, Newenice had one of those home runs.
I think we spent more time at the ballpark than we did at the hotel in that series.
Oof. That was a long one. There's a strike, 2-1. And then sure enough, Newenice just up for the minor leagues today. Gets an RBI single in his first time up in this ballgame. Last year, 47 games with the Mets, hit a .189. And only 3 homers, but of course one of those, the one we just showed you. 2-2 now. Well, that Mets outfield banged up. Lagares was really off to a good start. Now he's out with a hamstring strain. He's on the DL. Chris Young, the former Diamondback, has been out with a groin. That one is hit high to right field. Backs up Powell. Kirk Newenice has done it to the Diamondbacks one more time. 2 big league at bats, a single and a home run, and it's 5-0 Mets. Fourth home run this season given up by Bronson Arroyo.
I got a pitch that was very near the outside corner of the plate. Went out and hooked it back to right center field. That ball just kept carrying and carrying. Ends up out in the RamTrucks.com pool area.
So Lagares goes on the DL. Newenice gets the call, and so far he's 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs. Travis d'Arnaud. They expect Chris Young off the DL Friday. And no Curtis Granderson tonight after he collided with that right field fence last night. X-rays negative on Granderson. He's day to day. So how about Newenice? That home run and extras last year on the 4th of July. And it's our first look at him since, and he picks up right where he left off against the D-backs. 2-0. d'Arnaud has hit in 3 straight and 5 of 6. So a single, a homer, and a base on balls to open the 4th.
shortstop Omar Quintanilla.
Here's Omar Quintanilla, the shortstop. He grounded out his first time. We saw Tejada out there last night. And once again, the Mets are going with the Tejada-Quintanilla mix. A lot of people just assumed they would sign free agent Stephen Drew. There was a need there, and Drew still doesn't have a job, but they are sticking with this duo at short. Quintanilla, 95 games for the Mets last year, hit .222. Arroyo jumps out in front, 0-2. So another rough start here for the D-backs rotation. Leading the majors in walks allowed and batting average against. Opponents hitting .310 versus Diamondback starters. And that one is drilled to right center. Darno is on the run, and he will stop at third. Single, homer, walk, double to open the fourth. It was different earlier in that first, Bob. A couple of bloops and bleeders, but we have the home run, and that ball was scorched to right center.
I mean, the Mets are just reaching out over the plate, pulling pitches that are designed to be on the outside corner of the plate and pulling them back to right field. Neuenhuis's home run, and now this double by Quintanilla, both on pitches way out over the plate. Mike Harkey with a long, slow, deliberate walk out to the mound there to have a word with Bronson Arroyo. As of yet, nobody warming in the D-backs bullpen.
Randall Delgado getting ready to get it cranked up out there. And that's where having Randall out there can really help, because you know that as a former starter, he can give you basically everything you need back there. 4, 5, 6, he could do it. And now second and third, nobody out. The infield well in on the grass as Mejia, the pitcher, steps in, and he'll look at strike one.
You know, one thing you have to keep in mind also, partner, with Trevor Cahill and Randall Delgado in the bullpen, they both right now are going to take a little bit longer to get ready to come into the ball game than guys who are used to pitching out of the bullpen.
Off the fist, shallow left. Darno at third. Trumbo's under it. He'll hold, and that's the first down. Yeah, you can't. They just can't get heated up right away like some of these other guys, right?
I mean, there have been relief pitchers. Mike Myers, the lefty that I had here when I was managing, told me that by the time that phone rings, if you start walking slowly to the mound, I'll be ready by the time you get out there, because they get 8 more warm-up pitches on the game mound. He said, if I can throw 3 or 4 pitches in the bullpen, I'll be ready to come into the game. Other guys obviously are going to take a little longer. Josh Colmenter, used to pitching out of the bullpen in his days as a reliever, could get ready very quickly. Brad Ziegler probably gets ready very quickly. Same thing for Joe Thatcher. Guys that are used to that phone ringing, get up, get ready, get in. But when you're used to walking down to the bullpen and stretching for 15 or 20 minutes and playing catch with the bullpen catcher in the outfield, and then starting your warm-up tosses very slowly, having that phone ring and get up and your heart's beating 100 miles an hour and trying to get ready to get loose to come into a ball game is something that Mel Stottlemyre Jr., the bullpen coach, is going to have to help some of those guys down there.
So it's another case of trying to figure out how to piece together 9 innings. And it looks like as we're going here, Delgado will be involved. EY Jr. has singled and flied out. He scored a run. And Arroyo, who had 8 wins in 14 career starts against these Mets, is down 5-0. Fist that out into left. Trumbo has it drop in front. Darno and Quintanilla back to back here, and they both score. It's 7-0 New York. Quintanilla was coming hard from second and almost ran right up d'Arnaud's back.
Because of his angle at second base, he had a better look at where Trumbo was in relation to that little pop-up down the left field line. d'Arnaud did the right thing. He went back to tag just in case that ball was caught. And Quintanilla also did the right thing. Got a great read and almost runs right up his teammate's back.
Daniel Murphy. 7 runs on 8 hits for the Mets. Five of the first 6 in this inning have reached against Arroyo. Bullpen phone rings. 1-1. Mel Stottlemyre Jr., Randall Delgado still hasn't even started throwing yet. He's got to go through a whole process just to get warm enough to begin warming up, in a sense. And so Bronson may have to wear it for a while here. Now it's all hands on deck in the Sanderson Ford bullpen as Delgado starts throwing. Trevor Cahill, Oliver Perez, Ryan Rowland-Smith out there. A ball and 2 strikes.
I've talked about this in the past this season, partner. This is where somebody on that infield, preferably Miguel Montero, maybe Aaron Hill, maybe Goldie, maybe Martin Prado. Somebody stall for time. Find a way to slow the game down here. Give Randall Delgado an opportunity to crank it up down there in the bullpen. I mean, it's pretty obvious that you're not going to be able to stick with Bronson Arroyo much longer in this ball game, and all the infielders should be aware that Randall Delgado is going to take a little bit longer to get ready. So find a way to give him time. Untie your own shoe. Loosen a knot on your glove and call the trainer out for some help. Get something in your eye. Find a way to slow this down and give Delgado some time.
Young running on a 3-2 pitch, and we'll do it again.
We used to intentionally throw baseballs on the field from the bullpen from time to time.
Come on.
No, you know, pitchers warming up down there in a hurry and make sure the umpires weren't looking and just fire a ball out onto the warning track.
Well, some fan has lost a souvenir.
Timeout, timeout.
Base hit. Young heads for third. Pollock bobbles it in center, and they'll send E.Y. Jr. No throw. It's 8-0. Tim Tuffle was planning on holding Young at third, it looked like, and then A.J. could not get a handle on it out there. And so they wave Young in with the 8th Met run here.
Murphy now 8 for 16 against Bronson Arroyo in his career. I mean, that's going to take 2 long throws from out there in deep center field. Tuffle was bringing Young around the bag at third and then was going to read the throw to the relay man, but when he saw the bobble, he waved Eric Young around to score.
That's a single, an error on Pollock, and no RBI. Here's David Wright. It's a 5-run New York 4th, with Kirk Gibson's D-backs still looking for their first base hit.
Well, you have to go back to the first game of that Dodger series. Since then, the Diamondbacks have made at least 1 error in every ball game. 2 in a couple of them.
They were the best defensive team in all the major leagues last year. Wright is singled and lined out to third. Knocks that into left. Now 10 hits for the Mets. Six in this inning against Arroyo. Here's Kirk Gibson. So a rough night for Bronson Arroyo. 3 1/3. 8 runs, 10 hits. He leaves responsible for 2 base runners. Randall Delgado coming in from the bullpen, and Bronson will exit. Pitching change at Chase Field. Back after this.
Throwing him in here, he would be viewed as a savior. You know, here he comes, and you know, we're playing a little better baseball, maybe, but right now I don't want to put that on him. It's not to say that he couldn't come up here and perform like we hope Mike does, but don't like the environment based on who he is and what people will think once he comes here.
Well, injuries, inconsistency, way too many walks and home runs so far this season. The starting rotation for the D-backs has been a bust, and that's led a lot of fans and people inside the game to think that maybe Archie Bradley, the top pitching prospect in all of baseball, will be heading to the big league soon. But KT yesterday shooting that down, and it's interesting. Last night, Ken Rosenthal from Fox Sports Arizona posting a story that Archie's agent is making a lot of noise to have Archie make his way to the big leagues. But this franchise knows how good Archie is right now and can be in the future, and I think they're going to play it very cautiously. A part of it's obviously controlling his rights and bringing him up too early. But guys, this is not a good situation to bring a young man up. Team that's struggling, and as he said right there, you don't want to make Archie Bradley the savior of this team. That would be a whole lot of pressure to put on a great young promising arm.
You certainly don't want to do that. And Brad, it's just speaking for myself. The money has nothing to do with it. The money is irrelevant. He's not ready. He's not ready. He wasn't ready in his last 2 starts this spring. He's been okay at Reno, not great, not good enough to bring up. He's just not ready. As much as everyone wants him to be, Bob, it would be an enormous mistake to go to Archie Bradley right now, in my opinion.
Well, it certainly could be. I mean, there's also a possibility Archie Bradley could come up here and dazzle, but based on what we've seen up to this point, there's no reason to think that that would be the case. I mean, we've seen a lot of great pitchers come through the minor leagues on time at the major league level and still struggle. So given the circumstances, given the team struggles right now, and given the state of that starting rotation, I would tend to agree. I think it would be a huge mistake, put way too much pressure on a young man way before he's ready for it.
He's got to be able to command the fastball, and it's better. There's no question it's better, but it's not where it needs to be right now. And you forget he's a 21-year-old kid. Knocked down by Owens at short. They get the force at second. Murphy scores from third, and the Mets have a 9-0 lead.
Center fielder Kirk Neuenhuis.
I mean, you certainly wouldn't expect Archie's agent to agree with that. I mean, he's trying to do a job for his client, as misguided as it may be. But the organization has to look at the big picture as well. I I mean, obviously you try to win every day you take the field, but at the same time, Kevin Towers has to keep an eye on next week, next month, next year. And Archie Bradley is going to be a big part of this team moving forward at some point, but this is not the right time.
And you bring up a good point. The agent's job is to start the arbitration clock going as soon as possible. That's in his client's best interest financially.
And keep that buzz going. I mean, not that Archie Bradley needs any more buzz. Everybody knows what the potential is there moving forward. But, you know, the more you keep his name in the headlines, the more you keep his name out there, the more highly he'll be valued, not only by the Arizona Diamondbacks organization, but by everybody around baseball.
And you won't find a bigger Archie Bradley fan than I. He's a terrific kid from terrific parents. We got to meet them in Sydney. You get why he's got such a good head on his shoulders, both feet on the ground. But it's just not time. As much as everyone wants it to be that time, it's not yet. Neuenhuis a single and a home run. So Delgado comes in, hits Duda to load him up. Gives up the RBI ground out for the 9th Met run. And with 2 outs, it's Neuenhuis up there with a 2-2 count. Back to the mound. Delgado. And that's it. But the Mets get 6 in the 4th, and they lead it 9-0. Well, there's always the snacks to console yourself in a 9-0 ball game as we get set for the home half of the 4th. And between innings, this is the discussion in the D-back bullpen, or dugout, pardon.
Yeah, Kirk Gibson's still trying to learn some of the nuances of his new pitcher. I mean, it's fairly well known around baseball that on occasion, when a team like the Mets come out extremely aggressive against Bronson Arroyo, they just don't give him an opportunity to settle in and find his spots and find the right split between his pitches. And I think that was the case with the Mets tonight. And Kirk Gibson just wants to talk to the starter himself and find out how he feels about his outing and maybe what Gibby could do different to help him next time.
And on the other side for the Mets, you've got Henry Mejia, the 24-year-old right-hander from the Dominican Republic. He has retired all 9 he's faced. And they'll work to Gerardo Parra to open the 4th. Mejia making just his 14th big league start tonight. Had a no decision his last time out. That was last Thursday in Atlanta. 4 runs, 6 hits in 5 innings. He was a winner his first time out this year. That was April 4th against the Reds in New York. And his biggest issue so far has been durability. He's had some major surgeries already. He's only 24. There was Tommy John in 2011, and last season another procedure to clean out a bone chip from his elbow. So last year he was only able to throw 50 innings between the minor leagues and the majors. Made 5 starts with the Mets, 1-2, a very good 2.30 ERA. But the most innings Mejia has ever been able to throw in one season, 108. It's not much. But if he could stay healthy, they like his stuff.
It's about half what you expect from a starting pitcher at the major league level, a guy that takes the ball 32 times a year. Usually will get up around that 200 inning mark.
Bartolo Colon, another signee. As we mentioned earlier, Mejia beat out Daisuke Matsuzaka for that 5th starter's job. In the words of George Costanza, tamales!
I think Bartolo Colon would agree with that.
3-2 now on Parra.
Whichever side of the dugout he stands on, if you drop a ball on the floor, it'll roll toward Bartolo Colon.
Gravity?
Oh, man. That is a large man.
All smiles over there, up 9-0. 3-2 to Parra. Leadoff man aboard. First base runner for the D-backs tonight. Hey fans, it's now time for you to get on the Twitter and tweet us your photo. Use the hashtag AZFanPhoto. That's a new one again. Hashtag AZFanPhoto for your chance to have your picture shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. Bob Brenly's already been looking through some pictures. Going next door to get the thoughts of the governor, Greg Schulte. You can always drown your sorrows in a $4 beer, the best beer in baseball here at Chase Field.
A lot of 4s right there. $4 beer. Guy wearing a Goldschmidt jersey, number 44.
Numerology. We're in the 4th inning. Cheers. Prado grounded out his first time. Martin Prado this season, the walk rate is down just a bit. The strikeout rate is up a tick. But most of that stems from his slow start. He was 3 for 25 out of the gate this year. But since then, Martin has hit .333 over his last 10 games. 0-2.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Veronica, will you go to the prom with me?
Maybe I ought to show her the sign.
He rings up Prado. Second strikeout for Henry Mejia. There's Goldie. Lined out to second his first time. I guess that's sort of the junior version of the proposal at the ballpark. The prom proposal. She wants to go with Goldie. Did you wear like one of those blue tuxes to your prom in Coshocton?
Yeah, it wasn't blue. I think it was white, if I remember correctly.
Ooh, classy.
Yeah.
Kind of very James Bond, baby.
Not quite.
You couldn't pull that off then?
There wasn't a lot of espionage going on in Coshocton.
Not a lot of vital intelligence in that area?
No.
0-2. Goldie's hit safely in 3 straight and 7 of his last 8. One of the fun things to watch about Paul Goldschmidt is how often he's down 0-2. and can get it back either even or even full. Post that one in the air near the seats behind first base, and it's in there. That's one of the things Kirk Gibson most enjoys about Paul Goldschmidt is how Goldie sticks to his plan up there against a certain pitcher, certain situation. It's a bit more than patience. It's almost kind of a stubbornness in what he's trying to do. He will force the pitcher to give him the pitch he wants, and if he doesn't get it, he'll take the walk.
I think a lot of that gets back to the quick swing. You know, most big power hitters have a little bit of a loop in their swing in order to generate that power, get some lift in their swing, but Goldie is so short and quick to the ball. Allows him to take defensive swings like that on borderline pitches. That was too close to take, but not really good enough to do much with. So just a quick flick of the wrist, and he fouls it off and forces Mejia to come in there one more time.
Last season, a career low strikeout rate. In fact, his strikeout rate has gone down every year he's been in the big leagues. And it's dropped about 10% since his rookie year, so continued improvement. Walk rate last season, a career high. And that one is by right and into left. Parra heads for third. So Paul Goldschmidt has now hit in 15 of 17 games this season. And we saw the perfect game go away earlier in the inning, and there goes the no-hitter. Sorry, all you Met fans watching back in Connecticut.
Yeah, Terry Collins doesn't use a lot of exaggerated shifts, but one thing the Mets will do is play David Wright way off the line down there at third base. Number one, they're trusting that his range can cover that much ground, but they're playing the percentages. A lot more balls are hit in the hole between third and short than are hit right down the third base line. So with that in mind, the Mets play way over toward that 5.5 hole, as Tony Gwynn used to call it.
Miguel Montero 0 for 1. This is Miggy's second start in the cleanup spot. He hit fourth in the order more times last year than in any other spot. 44 starts as the cleanup man. And it worked last night, a 3-hit night.
His approach this year has been so much improved over last season. He's pulling the balls he should pull, chasing Granderson into the wall on that one. And when they try to work him away, he's content to take the ball to the opposite field. Nice quick swing.
I always look at his head. So often last year we'd see him pull that head way up and he'd take that wild golf swing and miss, but it seems much more, Bob, this year he's keeping his head down and on the ball.
Yeah, he kind of picks his spots. If he gets a count in his favor, 2-0, 3-1 against a pitcher that likes to throw a lot of fastballs, occasionally he'll turn it up a notch or two, but for the most part he's stuck with the program, drive the ball hard wherever it's pitched.
Hitters count here, 2-1. We're 120 feet away. Great view. And what a night to be here. Roof and panels open. Gorgeous in downtown Phoenix. 3-1.
You see how Miggy's been spraying it around this year. You would expect most of his hits to come to right field. He is, after all, basically a pull hitter, but those are the kind of splits you like to see. That's when he's at his best.
See the head that time, it came up.
On a 3-1 count, guessing fastball.
Let's take a look. Watch his head here. That's what we saw a lot of last year. It's been much better this year. 3-2 now. Parra the runner at third, Goldschmidt at first. Center. Nice coming in. Young wants it. Parra at third will hold. 2 down. So with 2 outs, Mejia will work to Aaron Hill.
Closer ball game, you might have seen Paul Goldschmidt tag up and try to advance to second on that throw home by Eric Young Jr. He airmailed it all the way to Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate, overthrew the cutoff man, but trailing by 9 runs, you just cannot afford to take any chances on the bases.
Aaron Hill going through a bit of a slow start to the season. Grounded out his first time. Aaron's strikeout rate is at 23% to begin the year. That's more than a 10% jump from each of the last 2 seasons. He's got the doubles, 6 doubles on the year, but he has yet to hit one out of here. And don't forget last season, he was battling that broken hand. Suffered when he was hit by a fastball from Pittsburgh's James McDonald, and his season was put on about a 3-month hiatus about this point last year. A ball and a strike. And it's interesting now, Mejia was rolling along, retired the first 9 he faced, but this is when he can get a little erratic and go off the rails. The command is an issue.
Yeah, it's always a factor too when a guy's cruising along going 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3, and suddenly you find yourself in the stretch position. Now certainly Mejia warmed up from the stretch when he was down in the bullpen before the ball game, but he got very comfortable in that windup in the first 3 innings.
Took something off. He's back even 2-2. Mark Trumbo, Major League home run and RBI leader, is on deck. Here's the strikeout. That's 3 for Mejia, and the Diamondbacks strand 2. We are through 4. They trail it 9-0.
I mean, I'm kind of curious. There's Twitter, there's Facebook. You could text her, you could ask her in person. Why this route?
Well, at our school, actually, there's a competition of who can ask the most or the most clever. So when I go to a D-backs game, try to get on TV and
I like this kid.
Her,
Yeah. The key is the most clever, not the most. Because if you're asking a ton of girls, that would make Veronica. Now you have a sign that says "I love gold." So have you given him an answer yet?
I said yes.
And that made you feel
great. Yeah, it was good.
So now the key is, now that she said yes, you have to plan the actual date. That's a big deal. Now she's a junior, you're a senior. So what's in store?
I got to work, get money first.
Okay, I like that plan.
And then it's going to be a good night. you know, it always is St. Mary's. So.
Are you doing the tux, like, you know, the lime green tux and the stretch limo and that kind of a thing?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, maybe suspenders again. Actually had her prom last week and this Saturday, so we'll see.
Double dip of prom. Yeah. Love is in the air.
Yeah.
Now, you guys been dating for a while? Or?
About 2 years now.
2 years now. So you kind of knew that you would probably say yes.
I mean, yeah.
Pretty confident. Look at that. Look at that. Pretty confident right there. Well, have fun. It's May 4th, and enjoy. Glad you said yes. It'd be very embarrassing if you said no on live TV.
Yeah.
Guys, we'll send it back to you. We do lead the league in love.
Oh,
do we not?
We do every night.
Yeah, you got to get the job. That's the key part of it. You know, you got to have money.
It's a romantic ballpark. As we start with a leadoff walk to Travis d'Arnaud, hitting $162 coming in. That's nice work. I like that. I like this kid, BB. It's not about the flash and all that stuff. He just wants to get a job, earn money, and go to the prom.
How about that? And a prom doubleheader. What did he say? He went to one last weekend. They got another one coming up.
I missed that part. Yeah. So he's going to get 2 jobs. So a walk to d'Arnaud to lead it off. Here's Omar Quintanilla. Doubled and scored his last time. You need your lawn cut or anything? Some errands run?
I could probably think of something.
Some chores around the estate?
Probably use a car wash.
Oh, see, now it's time to check the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Why not? They're all dressed up. They're D-backs gear. You needed a good place to make a splash, so come out to Chase Field. It's good.
Veronica will probably feature a nice Sedona red gown for the
a theme. I like it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe mix in a black tux with a Sedona red cummerbund and bow tie. Ooh, he'd be slick.
Big league.
Some eye black.
Quintanilla shoots that out into left, and Mark Trumbo makes a nice running catch. Mark Trumbo working hard on his defense. We talked today. This is something that is very important to him. He wants to be a complete player. And we just saw a nice running grab there and left.
Now, one of the things you learn very quickly playing a corner outfield spot is, in Mark Trumbo's case, when a left-handed hitter hits the ball to left field, it's always going to tail away from you, and it's always going to die a little quicker than you think. Trumbo got burned a couple times earlier this season, but nice sliding catch that time.
Mejia fouls the bunt straight back. Dave McKay has been working a lot with Mark Trumbo in his outfield play. That one rolls foul. So quickly 2 strikes on Mejia, the pitcher. A very good chat with Mark Trumbo today down at Chloe's Corner in downtown Phoenix for a cup of coffee show. Great spot. They take great care of us down there at Chloe's. And boy, Mark, we just got to talking and we looked up and it had been an hour. We're supposed to, ideally we talked for about 30-35 minutes and we put it together for the show. But boy, Mark's an impressive guy. Really impressive guy. Prado coming in well on the grass at third. That's a ball. Talked about all kinds of stuff. You would love him, BB, because he's a huge music guy.
Really? Okay.
He learned to play the drums despite the neighbors' complaints growing up in Anaheim, and then now he's on the guitar. So between him and Arroyo and Aaron Hill and you and Bickley, we can just have a big jam session up there. It'd be like Live Aid or something.
Mitch Riggin on the drums. Yeah, put a band together.
Well, Mitch, our director, is a huge Geddy Lee guy, and he's got a Geddy Lee drum set. And I told Mitch today, I'm like, I just talked to Mark Trumbo. He's buddies with Geddy Lee of Rush. Mark told me that. I said, wait a minute, you get emails from Geddy Lee? He said, yeah. He's a huge baseball fan.
Well, Geddy Lee used to come around quite a bit when I was managing. Randy Johnson was a big Rush fan. And as you said, Geddy Lee, a huge baseball fan.
The song he did with Bob and Doug McKenzie, Take Off, is still a classic. Of all the songs, I picked that one. $10 is $10. And Mark talked a lot about sabermetrics, which was interesting because he, in a lot of ways, is the anti-sabermetric player. And I believe that show is coming up sometime in May, not too far away, a couple of weeks. Cup of Coffee on Fox Sports Arizona. We taped one with Mark today and one with Addison Reed, which was a lot of fun.
Boy, and I know I love him. I know the fans love those too. To get a chance to see a player, out of uniform, away from his element, much more relaxed, not worrying about, geez, I got to end this quickly. I got to get to the ballpark. I actually just sit down and relax. And you do a great job interviewing the guys and getting them to open up.
Oh, it's easy too. They're great guys and they want to participate and talk, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for me to do, and the crew that puts it together does a tremendous job. Josh Kellman producing. And there's Addison Reed. Addison's out in the bullpen. That's how he met his wife.
I mean, she's a reliever too.
No. No, I said, because he just got married in the off season. I said, wow, you had a lot going on this winter. And I said, well, what'd you do? How'd you meet your wife? And he said, well, she was at a game. She's not a baseball fan. White Sox were playing Cleveland, and her friend dragged her to the game. Said, come on, just come to the game with me. So she said, all right, fine. And they kind of caught each other's eye out there, and some digits were exchanged, and they were off and running. Delgado rings up Young, and that ends the fifth. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Speaking of Mark Trumbo, the Major League home run RBI leader, leads it off for the D-backs when we come back.
Kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Arizona Diamondbacks regular season home game. Contestant tonight took home a Gerardo Parra game piece and also won herself $100 in D-Bucks to spend here at the ballpark.
Nice. And out to the team shop. Mark Trumbo leads off the fifth. Trumbo Owens Pollock 6, 7, and 8 against Met right-hander Henry Mejia. D-backs with only one hit so far. That was a Goldie single in the fourth. They've had only 2 base runners against Mejia, who retired the first 9 he faced. Trumbo flied out to right his first time. I was talking to Mark about his high school career. He was drafted as a pitcher. He was a pitcher coming up in high school. Angels drafted him as a big right-hand pitcher. And they said, came time to negotiate the deal. And they said, well, we want to take a look at you. And they watched him pitch for a while and liked what they saw. So they bring him in for the physical before they signed the contract. And something came up. Dr. Yoakum took a look and found some wear and tear in the arm. And all of a sudden the deal was off. And it was funny because Mark was such a huge baseball fan growing up as a kid. He threw all the time. They called it, this is something I had never heard of. Maybe you've heard it. They called it Little League arm. Oh. They found some fraying in there because he was a kid. He'd go out in the yard, in the street, whatever, and play ball, and that was it. So he'd had a lot of miles on him by the time he got drafted. So he said, you know, I can hit a little bit too. So they took a look at him as a hitter, and they said, all right, we'll sign you. And here he is. And he drives that to the gap in right center. Kurt Neuenhuis. He homered in the 4th, and now he takes a base hit away from Trumbo in the 5th.
Neuenhuis is kind of in a different situation than most guys that get called up from the minor leagues. Normally you get called up with the idea, hey, you're going to back up, pinch hit a little bit, we'll get you into some ball games wherever we can. But because of the injuries to Lagares going on the disabled list and Curtis Granderson day to day, he's going to get to play quite a bit. That's Ike Davis right there in the middle. As you saw the Mets reacting on the bench after that nice diving catch, Ike Davis was a guy coming out of ASU. There was some questions. Should he be a hitter? Should he be a pitcher?
I have heard tales of people that saw Ike pitch and said he was fantastic. You saw him, right?
Oh, yeah. I saw him as a youngster. I saw him all the way through Chaparral High School and then at Arizona State. He was a guy that could rush it up there in the mid-90s. There was a lot of games where he would be the offensive hitting star and also the closer.
Speaking of Little League, one and one to Chris Owings. Is that Seamus? Decided to come down to the ball game apparently. Just drove himself over and now here he is.
That young man will come back to the ballpark in 20 or 30 years and think to himself, boy, these steps used to be a lot bigger. I remember walking down that aisle. It took me forever.
He's doing pretty well though.
Yeah, he is.
All the way up, going down to the front row.
He'll climb over the railing and get down on the field.
Check out the view. How about that?
Nice.
Major League Baseball through the eyes of a youngster. Mejia misses there, and it's a one-out walk to Owings. Second walk issued by Henry Mejia.
Center field, A.J.
Here's A.J. Pollock. He flied out his first time. It was a slow start to the season offensively for A.J. It was 3 for 23 to open up. But since then, over his last 10 games, he's hitting better than .290. He's hit safely in 8 of his last 10. There's a strike, 0-1. Sanderson Ford bullpen. Oliver Perez. Bounce to third, right charging. Bear heads it. Got him at first. Close play over there. Mike DeMuro, the first base umpire. Here comes Kirk Gibson. Boy, that was close.
It really was. And we talked about David Wright's ability to throw from that low arm angle. Got the tongue sticking out as usual. Boy, can't do it any better than that.
Woo. Wow, was that close? I think he might have got him. And again, if you're Alan Campbell right now, the Diamondbacks video coordinator, looking at the play that you're looking at right now, trying to decide whether he should tell the Diamondbacks to challenge or not. You're looking for something that will provide clear and convincing evidence. They think they have it, and they will challenge the call.
One thing that really worked in A.J. Pollock's favor right there, he hits the very front edge of the bag with his toe. That's the quickest way you can get to the base right there.
He appears to have, you can't tell, again, you can't tell definitively there because you can't see his front foot. How about this angle?
Looks like he's safe to me. And there's been some question about when is the ball actually in the first baseman's glove? Is it when it enters the perimeter of the glove? We were told at the seminar down in Los Angeles before the season started, it's when the ball hits the back of the glove.
The back of the glove.
Yeah, or the pocket of the glove, if you will.
So you're looking here for one of three rulings, either confirmed, which means confirming the call on the field. The call on the field stands, meaning there is no clear or convincing evidence. Or you're looking in this case for the Diamondbacks, overturned. Major League Baseball Replay Command Center in New York, manned by other umpires. So the crew chief and the umpire involved get on the headsets, and the crew chief talks to another umpire in New York.
Well, once again, not to beat a dead horse here, but I love the way AJ, I mean, that's as fast as you can get to the base right there. Get your toe on that very front edge of the base.
And generally, when it takes this long, they don't have an angle that shows them definitively one way or the other.
The fans are convinced here at Chase Field. They've seen several replays up on the big board, as we have shown you at home.
The ruling on the field is overturned. Pollock is safe at first. So the challenge works for Kirk Gibson. He will maintain his challenge. You get one. If you get it right, you get one more. So Pollock's aboard with Owings at second and one out. Big smile from Kirk Gibson right there. And with a pitcher spot due up right now, we'll see Eric Chavez hit for Randall Delgado. Owings the runner at second, Pollock at first. You score that, by the way, a base hit for A.J. Pollock. So that's the Diamondbacks' second hit.
You know, partner, there was a situation in the ball game last night in the seventh inning. Diamondbacks were trailing by 3 with a couple of runners on base and the pitcher spot coming up, and Tony Campana took the at bat. Seemed kind of puzzling with Eric Chavez sitting on the bench, but Kirk Gibson said before the ball game today that Eric was still a little bothered last night. You may remember a head-first slide into second base, and he jammed his pinky finger and was having a little trouble with it yesterday, but cleared for duty tonight.
A ball and a strike to Chavez. Chases the high, slow one there. 1-2. Mejia now at 73 pitches, 45 for strikes. Second, Murphy. Runners advance, 2 down. Brings up Gerardo Parra. Parra has flied out and walked. He's 0 for 1. Paradise here at Chase Field. They love Gerardo Parra. We have a Gerardo Parra bobblehead coming up soon. That's next month. Following his second Gold Glove season in right field for the Diamondbacks. There's a strike on 1. Parra, 32 games against the Mets in his career. He's hit .327 against them. That's a pretty good sample size, 110 at bats. Hello.
Pretty good reaction by Travis d'Arnaud back there behind the plate. That one looked like it was headed for the backstop. Mejia really trying to overthrow this pitch. Wow.
Just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside.
Owings at third, Pollock at second. 2 down, a 1-1 count to Parra. Met bullpen still quiet. Duda takes it himself. Diamondbacks strand 2, and through 5 they trail it 9-0. With Cox. Downtown Phoenix on a gorgeous night in the Valley. The Diamondbacks and Mets on Jackie Robinson Day, second of a 3-game series, and the Mets with 3 in the first and 6 in the fourth lead at 9-0. And 42 is all over the ballpark tonight, as it should be.
Second baseman Daniel Murphy.
Daniel Murphy will lead off the Mets 6th against a former Met great, Oliver Perez. In his 8th appearance on the year, the ERA right at 8.5. Ollie 5 years with the Mets, 29 and 29, pardon me, a 4.71 ERA. He was a 15-game winner with the Mets back in 07, went 15 and 10. But then the next year with the Mets, he went 10 and 7 and led the league in walks. 105 walks in 194 innings.
Woo. That's a lot of traffic, a lot of guys to pitch around.
So he was done with the Mets in 2010. Hooked up with the Mariners 2 years later, and he has reestablished himself as a relief pitcher. Murphy 2 for 3, pair of singles, he scored twice. El Tiante. This is away there, 1-2. He gives you a little bit of everything. He might throw the rosin bag up there.
Well, the only thing you have to be careful of is that you don't throw the same pitch every time you do that. And he doesn't do it on every delivery. Just on occasion, he'll turn his back to the hitter, look out to A.J. Pollock in center field, and then wheel around and deliver the pitch to home plate. But by my unofficial calculation, he's thrown both that big sweeping slider and the two-seam fastball out of that delivery.
Murphy right, Duda 2, 3, and 4 here in the Mets 6th. Bring him up, sit him down. Called strike 3.
Good front door slider that time, the harder slider. He'll take some off and make it an off-speed pitch, but that time dropped it right in there on the inside corner.
David Wright 2 for 3, a pair of singles. Oh, BB.
That's you.
Cold Stone. Look at that. Oh, they're loading up now. It's 9-0. Put more on there. That's big league. Strike 1. Perez quickly out in front, 0-2. First 8 seasons of his big league career, he was exclusively a starting pitcher, Oliver Perez. Always promising stuff, but mixed results. As we mentioned, won 15 games in 07 with these Mets. But career-wise, he lost more games than he won. Kicked around, spent 2011 in the minors before he hooked up with Seattle and was converted into a reliever, and he was much more consistent and effective. 94 appearances with Seattle in 2 years. He struck out 98 and pitched to a 3.16 ERA. He was really good. And he opens up with back-to-back strikeouts.
I remember when they made the move to put Perez in the bullpen. Some people around the game felt that he was one of those guys that was better served not knowing when he was going to pitch. Phone rings, grab the ball, go pitch. They felt that between starts, the 5 days between starts, 4 days between starts, he had too much time to think about his next outing and got between his ears a little bit. Has been very effective out of the bullpen.
Now he'll deal with Lucas Duda. And there's another part of that equation too, and it's the velocity. And you see this from time to time. Because all those years of starting, obviously there's fatigue there. And Ollie really started working as a reliever in winter ball after that 2011 season in the minor leagues. And he'd been seeing consistently 85, 87 on the radar guns for 2-3 years after all those years of starting. So suddenly now he's coming out of the bullpen, and the radar guns that were 85 or 87 with a little more rest and less wear and tear, they're reading 92, 94. And so as a result, he's even more effective. Center field, that'll back up A.J. Pollock, but he's got room. Duda gave it a ride, but it's a 1-2-3-6. The hop over the baseline. Diamondbacks down 9-0. 16th, D-backs take on the Mets. Get a great discount on seats for all weekday afternoon home games this year with D-backs. It's called matinee pricing. This is a great plan to purchase tickets. Visit dbacks.com/matinee. I will be down there, Bob, with the wife. Cindy and I will be down there with her sister Kim, our nephew Brandon. Nice. Trying to get him going on baseball. He's all about the football right now, so we're trying to convert him.
You got your hands full tomorrow, though.
I do. Gonzalez Herman on for the Mets, his 7th appearance this year. And look at these numbers. He's worked 7 1/3 to a 1.23 ERA, 8 strikeouts.
Fastball, changeup, slider combination. Average fastball sits in the low to mid-90s. Occasionally will touch the mid-90s.
Boy, this guy came up this year, retired 22 of the first 29 he faced. And he's retired 22 of the last 24 he's faced, so he's a handful. And he'll work to Martin Prado to open up the 6th.
Third baseman, Martin Prado.
So Met fans will certainly be very pleased with what they saw from Henry Mejia today.
Well, you would think so. Held the Diamondbacks to 2 hits. Never really was in much trouble. Not many hard hit balls at all. He did occasionally try to overthrow a few pitches, but 5 innings, only 2 walks and the 2 base hits. They'd have to be really pleased with that outing.
Prado 0 for 2. He struck out looking his last time up. Herman out in front 0-2. Remember Martin Prado when he was struggling offensively last year? Kirk Gibson and Turner Ward looked at video and decided he wasn't pulling the ball enough, and that was a byproduct they felt of frequently hitting second in the order early in the year. So he was dropped down. That seemed to help, but he's back in the 2-hole tonight. Well, Daniel Murphy has had a good series defensively. Makes a lot of plays. For a guy that's in there as a hitter who they kind of found a spot for, he's done a very good job over there.
Been impressive in this series. We talked about tonight's starter Henry Mejia coming out of the ballgame after 5 innings, surrendering only 2 hits, no runs. Apparently had a blister on his middle finger that the Mets were getting a little concerned with. They didn't want it to get out of control, and with a seemingly comfortable 9-0 lead, they decided to pull the plug and save him any further damage to that blister.
Strike 1 to Goldie. He singled his last time up, 1 for 2. So Goldie's now hit safely in 4 straight and 8 of 9.
I'll tell you what, Steve, I hadn't seen a lot of Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate before this series. I can see why the Mets are impressed with him. He's a solid defensive catcher back there. Gives a real small target. Very good receiver, pulls pitches back toward the middle of the strike zone consistently, makes those borderline pitches look better than they are. Very soft hands. You can see why they like him back there, even though he struggled somewhat offensively. He's done a nice job behind the plate.
Zach Wheeler, who we saw last night, was talking about d'Arnaud, said this is a guy that receives the ball well, has a way of taking that borderline pitch and getting it called a strike, framing as they call it. It's the offense that hasn't quite come around yet. Miguel Montero high to left center field. Young and Neuenhuis over there. It's Eli Jr. And that's a 1-2-3-6. We are through 6. It is 9-0 New York.
St. George Diamondbacks are now on 98.7 FM. That's right here.
His deliveries, he gives a hitter so many different looks. This is the at-bat by Duda. A quick pitch to start it off. Barely came set. Next delivery, he's going to give him the Louis Tiant. Here's the back of my jersey. Here's a big sweeping slider. And then this last one is what I would call his normal delivery, if there is such a thing. That's a more traditional leg kick, deliver the ball to home plate. No tricks there. But you can imagine, especially as a left-handed hitter, it gives you a lot to think about in that batter's box.
And he seemed to put a lot of thought into his shoes as well. Remember the other night he had those bright orange ones out there? Now he's got the spats going. Yeah. He must have a great shoe deal. Andrew Brown leads off the 7th against Oliver Perez. Now these were the shoes on Saturday. That's on the left, and tonight on the right. Keeps it interesting.
I like the ones he's wearing tonight. Throwing a lot of strikes. Very aggressive in the zone with all of his pitches.
Uh-oh, BB, don't look.
Don't need to see
Don't
that.
look. What was your one rule when you were the manager?
No open toe, no sandals. No sandals. I don't want to see your feet. That's why they invented shoes and socks.
Anything was fine. I just don't want to see your feet.
I'll tell you, and you know, it's not a phobia or anything like that. I just don't think that's a very attractive look for anybody. But Bob Melvin, after he left and went to manage in Seattle, and even to this day in Oakland, you know, occasionally he'll be throwing batting practice and a ball will hit him in the foot and he'll get a bad bruise. He takes pictures of his feet and sends them to me all the time.
3 strikeouts for Perez, who has struck out 3 of the first 4 he's faced here.
Now that's all we're going to see.
This is going to be a recurrent theme now. Geez. We are on the hunt. So you give Mitch Riggin a new RF camera and it's lights out. So you have an aversion, we'll say, to feet.
Yeah. Well, when you're a catcher and you take a lot of foul balls, I've lost at least a dozen toenails over the course of my playing career. Bruises, the toes don't always go into the shoe exactly the way they're supposed to. They bend at funny angles. I don't want to see anybody's feet. I don't even want to see my feet.
And there you go.
There we go. Okay.
Not even with the, you know, they have a nice little pedicure there with the toenail polish. Try and brighten it up for you.
Not for me.
Ooh, Ollie's got it going tonight. 0-2.
Sharp tonight.
New and Ice, big home run in the 4th. Just called up from AAA Las Vegas after Juan Lagares had to go on the DL. Lagares was off to a tremendous start to the year, but injured his hamstring last night. This was New and Ice. Back in the 4th. Right after Andrew Brown had singled, he takes Arroyo deep. All part of a 6-run Met 4th.
I saw that ball go in the air and I immediately picked up Gerardo Parra, because sometimes the outfielder will let you know how well a ball is hit by whether they chase it or not. And Parra was after that one. I thought he had a chance to make a play, but it just continued to carry.
Well, New and Ice is having a night back up in the big leagues, and he'll stay put at first. That's his 3rd hit. So he's 3 for 4. He's got 3 RBIs, including a home run.
Catcher Travis d'Arnaud.
Before we slip much further into this ball game, a tip of the cap to Randall Delgado, learning a new role down there, or he's done it before, but down there in the bullpen again. Did a nice job tonight. Inning and 2/3, did not allow a base hit, struck out a couple of batters, kind of restored some order, slowed down the Mets offense a little bit.
I think his stuff is going to be really effective in this role. He's going to have more velocity, and he won't have to worry about the breaking ball so much. Come in, spot the fastball, in, out, a couple of change-ups here and there, and he's going to throw 94, 95 as opposed to, you know, 92-ish as the starter. Josh Colementor, his first start last night of the year.
And he'll adapt to that role as well if he doesn't get put back in the starting rotation at some point. But we were talking about how long it takes him to get ready. But now that he knows he's going to be pitching out of the bullpen, I'm sure that's something the Diamondbacks and Mel Stoudemire Jr. and Mike Harkey are going to pay close attention to, try to help him with that routine to get ready quicker. We saw him stretching and doing some exercising in anticipation of coming into the ball game, but the actual getting the arm loose on the mound is something that he's going to have to learn to do just a little bit quicker.
And we'll talk to Joe Borowski about that in the home half of the 7th when Joe joins us. The straw man. Oh, the Met legends. Hello, young man. 2-1. I see you and the Governor have picked a fan photo. We'll show that in a minute. Was it a hard process tonight?
Every day it's difficult. We're getting so many fan photos, and we love it. Keep it up.
Use the hashtag AZFanPhoto. 2-2 to Travis d'Arnaud. Called strike 3. That's 4 strikeouts for Oliver Perez. There's the Governor. He is also part of the selection committee now. And as promised, it's our AT&T fan photo of the game. And the winner is Cassie. Protect this pool. Oh, that's Poseidon and the Mermen.
Yeah.
The Mermen are back. I'd like to thank them for tweeting that in. Don't forget, fans, use the hashtag AZFanPhoto for your chance to have your fan picture shown on a Diamondback game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. It's funny because you saw Poseidon there in his outfit with the beard and the trident and the whole thing. Our director, Mitch Riggin, was out at an establishment and ran into Poseidon the other night. What are the odds? CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Aaron Hill records that final out there at the top of the 7th. He'll lead off the home half, and Joe Borowski joins us when we come back.
Thought Bronson got hurt by some cheap hits. Ball hits off the plate.
Yeah.
EY beats it out. Ball finds a hole between third and short. Then he makes a good pitch against right. He fists it out into right field. And I'm like, well, it just seems like that's the luck that's going Diamondbacks' way. And then 4th inning, he just left way too many balls up out and over the plate.
But I think you're absolutely right, Joe. It's just, it seems every night it's one of the, things are just going this way. They were little dink and dunk hits in the first. I don't think they hit a legitimate clean one off them, not to take anything away from the Mets, but it wasn't like they were hitting rockets in the gaps and down the lines.
Yeah, and most people don't like to hear that, but I know as a player, when I was playing and I was going bad, it seemed like everything went against me. A ball, instead of being foul by an inch, it was fair by an inch, and it just seemed like that first inning was kind of trending that way for the Diamondbacks. They're trying to find a way to kind of tip the scales in their favor, and it just doesn't seem to be working right now.
That froze Neuenhuis for a moment in center, but he's got plenty of room, one away. And it seems to be a collective thing. It's not just Bronson Arroyo tonight or the next guy. It's everything. It's pitching, offense, defense, base running. It seems every aspect. It's just, there's another one. We didn't see that last year.
Yeah, and that's where you get extended losing streaks. It's when not one, two facets of your game is struggling, but they have all facets that aren't working right now. And you just see it. That's why they need somebody to step up. They need a starting pitcher to go out there and shut them down, throw out 7, 8 shutout innings, give this team a little bit of confidence to go back out there, score some runs, get that lead.
It's something to feel good about. Only 2 hits so far. Mark Trumbo's 0 for 2. He is twice flat out.
It's a lot like as a hitter goes through a slump. Sometimes all it takes is squaring up one ball, hit one good line drive, remember what it feels like to have that rhythm and that timing, and before you know it, you just take off. I think the same thing applies for a ball club. You know, when you get into these losing streaks and you're not playing well and things just don't seem to be going your way, all it takes is one crisply played game, usually behind a good starting pitching performance.
Rice backs up at third. Nice scoop by Duda at first. That's the second out.
And a lot of times, Bob, that could start in a game like this. Instead of, going down quietly for the rest of this game, you get a couple guys hit some balls hard, score a few runs. That could translate into tomorrow's game and get a little confidence going into the finale for tomorrow.
It is amazing how this stuff gets contagious.
Oh, absolutely.
A bad start here and there, and then a couple of guys aren't hitting. Then they're, Chris Owens is getting picked off, and then balls are dropping in on you for the other team, and it just starts rolling down the hill.
And we know how accountable these guys are, and ultimately they're going to try to do too much.
Oh, absolutely.
Geez, I need to hit a big home run here. My team needs me to do something big here, and now you're exceeding your limitations, and that's when more problems are created.
Sure.
But it's hard to convince guys the best thing to do is just relax and focus and concentrate. Try to take care of business today and then forget about it and come back and do it again tomorrow.
Because you went through this, Bob. You had a year like this.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, we were undermanned. We had a lot of guys who were in the big leagues way before their time, and it was tough. I mean, we showed you the video earlier of Chris Owings and Tony Campana and some of the guys down at first base working on their leads, working on reading a pitcher's move. We had to do that every day in 04. It was like a mini spring training every day. Trying to learn some of the fundamentals of the game, some of the finer points of the game. And, unfortunately, because of the circumstances, guys got here before they should have been here and didn't know a lot of those things.
And now, Joe, guys are taking on different roles in the bullpen. We're talking about how long it took Randall Delgado just to get loose before he could even start throwing in the bullpen.
You have to realize that starting in the league is so different, and he'll have to get accustomed to that.
Beats it out. Nice backhand play by Quintanilla. But Owings is on board for the second time today. He walked his last time up. That's the third hit for the Diamondbacks.
And Steve, as a starter, you're used to having a set routine. You know when you're pitching. You're throwing your bullpens in between. You know how much you have to throw in between your starts. As a reliever, you have the possibility of throwing 3-4 days in a row. You got to know how much you throw during BP to get loose. How much do you throw when you're getting warm? When you're getting warm up to in the game, because there's no guarantee you're getting in that game. There's a lot of things he's going to have to learn, and that's where the other relievers can help him out. Your bullpen coach helps you out. Bullpen catcher helps you out. You're looking for everybody to give you some piece of advice, and you find out what works best for you, and then you move forward with that.
Everybody's different.
Absolutely.
There's no question. But how long does it take, say, a starter in the bullpen to get warmed up versus a reliever? Just ballpark.
Well, starter, you got to remember, you're starting. The game hasn't started yet, so you're going and you're trying to find your release point. You're trying to be able to throw strikes consistently, so you can throw as many or as little as you want. As a reliever, you may have less than a minute to get ready before you're in the game. I knew many a time where that phone rang, I had 3 pitches when the catcher was down to get ready, and I was in the game. But it was something I was used to. My arm was used to getting loose very quickly, and it was just over a long period of time throughout my career as a reliever. I can get sharp quick. As long as my arm was loose, I didn't have to worry about, can I throw 6 out of 7 pitches on the corner with my fastball? Can I throw 6 out of 7 with my slider on the corner? I knew that if I needed it, I just needed my arm loose, and I can go throw strikes in the game.
Well, we've had a shot of J.J. Putz warming up in the Diamondbacks bullpen. I mean, here's a veteran guy. He's done this for a long time, and he'll throw a pitch and then stand and watch a couple pitches. You know, once he gets to a point where he knows, with my 8 pitches out on the game mound, I'm ready to go. So he's not going to waste any bullets down there.
Center field, Neuenhuis at the track, at the wall. Kurt Neuenhuis has had himself a night. His first game of the big leagues this year, up from AAA. And they'll strand Owings after the 2-out single. Joe, thanks. We'll check you out on Diamondbacks Live following the ball game.
Thanks, guys.
Day off for Fox Sports Arizona, Dylan G. and Brandon McCarthy. So radio only, 98.7 FM with the governor, Greg Schulte, Tom Candiotti, and high above, Leo Gilmartin. Really the brain trust behind the whole media operation.
The Leo Gilmartin.
He sits up there atop his lofty perch, and he's really, what he is an overlord. He oversees and he lords over everyone.
There you go.
There's Candiotti adding his usual insight.
Leading off for New York.
Look at Leo. He's just, how long are they going to keep this shot going? Zoom in. He knows. This is what it's like on the road. And that's Leo Gilmartin. You see him on the Twitter at Leo Gilmartin. He's a big part of Diamond Talk. We'll do that again on radio after the broadcast tonight. And just for good measure, that was Tom Candiotti working alongside Greg Schulte. Our men will take the at-bat in the 8th.
Well, we gave a tip of the cap to Randall Delgado and his inning in 2/3 of shutout baseball. And same thing could be said for Oliver Perez. 2 innings, gave up only 1 base hit, punched out 4. This is a little bit similar to the Trevor Cahill short start the other day when the bullpen came in and had to eat up 5 innings. Gave up only 2 hits and 1 run. And gets back to what we were talking about earlier, just about how things just can't seem to sync up quite right. Rough outing for Bronson Arroyo tonight, but the bullpen has come in and put up zeros.
Woods opens up with a strikeout. 7th appearance on the year for JJ, a 1.80 ERA. Brings up E.Y. Jr. top of the order. He has singled twice, scored twice. He's got 2 RBIs. J.J. last worked in the series against the Dodgers. He pitched on Saturday. Worked 2/3 of an inning. Only threw, well, he threw 34 pitches. And now he'll work to Eric Young with 1 out. Mets with 3 in the first and 6 in the fourth. They lead it 9-0. Baxter keeping everybody loose. Some looser than others. Base hit. Eric Young Jr. was on base 3 times last night, 2 singles and a walk. Tonight he's got 3 singles.
Second baseman, Daniel Murphy.
Hey fans, for the thrill of the game, baseball finally here. It's happening all around us. So go grab a Pepsi and some friends and get out to a D-backs game and live it. It's time to live for now. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Arizona Diamondbacks. We back the D-backs. Daniel Murphy. He singled twice and scored twice. One more ball game with the Mets tomorrow afternoon. Off day on Thursday. And then another road trip. 3 in Los Angeles over the weekend against the Dodgers. And then 4 at Wrigley Field, Chicago against the Cubs. Had 4 games rained out in the major leagues today because of all the nasty weather in the East. Had games rained out at Philadelphia, Yankee Stadium, Baltimore, and Detroit. And the tough thing on Jackie Robinson Day is knowing which pitcher got the decision and who didn't.
Number 42. Milwaukee Brewers, after winning 9 in a row, have now dropped 2 straight. Lost to the Cardinals today, 6-1. Panic in Cheesetown.
Yeah, the Brewers got off to a nice start. I remember a long time ago when you got your scorecard and they put the out-of-town scores up on the scoreboard, and you, instead of putting the pitcher's number, every pitcher was assigned a number, and you'd like 1 through 9.
Yeah.
And you'd say, oh, pitcher number 6 got the win, and you'd have to check your program to see who that is.
Clever marketing ploy to force you to buy a scorecard.
10 cents. Get the little pencil and everything. In the air to left, that backs up Trumbo. Now, who scored the game for you in the dugout? Was that a bench coach, a coach? Do you actually do a scorecard? You have a lineup on the wall, but in terms of a scorecard, is that even relevant at all?
Not really. We didn't keep any in the dugout. Obviously, there's the scorecard that's hanging on the wall right there, just a lineup card to keep track of the rosters. This one is actually down in the bullpen and who's in the game and who's not. You see those little blue dots. Let me take a look here.
David Wright.
And what you'll do is when the inning ends, you'll see Quintanilla and the number 7 right there. He made the last out in the 7th inning. So you put the 7, you put a circle around it, and then when the Mets come back up to the plate to start the 8th inning, you fill in that circle. That's kind of how you tell where you're at in the order and look ahead an inning or 2 or 3 to see where that lineup's going to roll around.
Roll to short. They get the force on Young. That ends the 8th. Bottom half coming up. Diamondbacks trail it 9-0.
Eighth inning, you put an 8 with a circle around it, fill in the one at the bottom where Quintanilla had made the last out in the 7th. 0 in the top half of the inning. Yeah, I mean, I kept a card in my pocket that had, matchups that we would look for late in a ball game, matchups that maybe we wanted to avoid late in a ball game. If a guy was swinging a bat particularly well, if I noticed something from a pitcher or a hitter or a defender.
Tony Campana slaps that the other way, but Eli Jr. with good speed tracks it down near the line. Campana hitting for the pitcher to lead off the 8th.
Tony Campana as the pinch hitter, and his name will stay that way until they wait and see if Campana stays in the game as a defender. If he does not stay in the game as a defender, they'll cross out Tony Campana and put the pitcher spot in there. It was more just making notes of things you noticed during the game, things you want to talk to your coaching staff about before the next ball game, or things you want to talk to a specific player about, or things that you notice from the opposition that maybe is a little bit different than we saw on the advanced scouting report. But actually keeping a scorecard like we do up here and like a lot of fans do at Chase Field, we didn't do that.
Gerardo Parra, some great shots of the Mets lineup card in the bullpen down there by our crew. There's Terry Collins.
You see he's got his card in his hand right there, and I'm sure he's made some notes to himself. The relievers in the Diamondbacks bullpen, and maybe some of the Mets bench players that have good numbers against pitchers down there, or have poor numbers against pitchers. And those are the matchups that you either look for or look to avoid.
Now, I remember you telling me when Bob Melvin was your bench coach about his weird colored pens and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we kept them in the refrigerator at times. And I never really knew the rhyme or reason, and I didn't argue with him because Mel and I were both firm believers in the mojo of the game. There are certain things you can't explain. There's no logical reason to do it. But if you don't do it, bad things are going to happen. Borderline insanity, but one of the things was keeping the pens in the refrigerator. There was one juncture of the season, I believe we were actually at Shea Stadium in New York, and they had A&W root beer barrels, the hard candies. Well, Mel ate an A&W root beer barrel before the ball game, and we went out and played a great game and won, so had to have a root beer barrel the next day before the ball game. Well, now we come back here to Arizona. I spent the better part of a day driving around to stores and drugstores and trying to find A&W root beer barrels just so we could keep our mojo going. That's how it gets sometimes.
The seeds.
I mean, baseball players are superstitious by nature, but boy, when you do it for a living and you let it get between your ears a little bit, it can absolutely drive you crazy.
I can get you a root beer.
Yeah. Got to be a root beer barrel.
Yeah.
Wide zone tonight for Gabe Morales behind the plate.
Is that a 9-0 strike?
Yeah, unfortunately it is. It shouldn't make any difference to score on the board, but occasionally it does.
Three hits for the Diamondbacks. Three balls now and 2 strikes to Prado.
Get the Martin Prado chant going.
He strikes out. That ends the 8th. We'll head to the 9th. 9-0 Mets. Three hits. Murphy and Wright 2 for 5 each, as the Mets got 3 in the first against Bronson Arroyo and then 6 in the 4th, and they lead it 9-0.
Well, after a 4-hit night last night, they slowed down Lucas Duda. Unfortunately, the rest of the team got red hot.
And now to work the ninth just to get some work in here at Chase Field. It's the closer, Addison Reed, and now this has happened a couple of times with Addison, where he's come in and 8-2, 9-0 just to get an inning here.
Yeah, actually the 4th time out of his now 7 appearances that he's come in a non-save situation.
His 7th appearance of the year. 6 innings so far, 8 strikeouts against just 2 walks. Lucas Duda leads off the New York ninth. Duda was the big man in the Met lineup yesterday. 4 for 5, 4 singles he drove into. But he is hitless tonight. Addison Reed giving you that half Papelbon we've talked about. He did not go, says Hunter Wendelstedt at third. Addison will kind of look down at the mound a bit and slowly raise his head, give you the glare. Not quite as exaggerated as Jonathan Papelbon, but the same kind of deal.
Boy, and even after going into his set position, he really locks in on his target.
Duda drives that to center. AJ's there, 1 away. Hey fans, do you think you're Arizona's #1 super fan? Well, if so, now is your chance to prove it and show the entire state. Plus, you could win an incredible Sports Lovers prize pack. So log on to foxsportsarizona.com/superfan for all the details. Hey, there's Joe.
Yeah.
That's Joe as our hot dog hero the other night. He ate the $25 D-Bat dog.
Hasn't eaten since.
Apparently he's out of bed for the first time since and thrilled about it. Andrew Brown. Joe's a great D-back fan. See him out at Salt River all through spring training, and now here at Chase Field as often as he can. I saw him on the Twitter the other day, and the problem with, as often happens, Bob, with fame is that he is now known as the hot dog guy, the corn dog guy. And he's trying to shake that a little bit. Because you don't want to get pigeonholed or tagged as one-dimensional.
Oh, Joe is anything but one-dimensional.
There's plenty of other things he can eat. Called strike 3. Our APS Energy All-Star, well-deserved, Kirk Neuenhuis. A couple of great running catches in center field. And it's a good night offensively. 3 hits, including that home run in the 4th.
Yeah, welcome back to the big leagues, Kirk Neuenhuis. I mentioned it earlier. He kind of came up here knowing he was going to be playing because of the injuries to the Mets outfielders and really took full advantage tonight. Put on a show with the bat and with the glove.
Well, it's been a rough night for the Diamondbacks, but they're not the only ones. The Washington Nationals lost at Miami 11-2 behind Steven Strasburg. So Strasburg drops to 1-2 on the year. 11-2 your final. Of course, talked to Addison Reed today as we filmed our Cup of Coffee episode. And when Steven Strasburg was a star starting pitcher at San Diego State, his closer was Addison Reed. And in fact, they were roommates, Strasburg and Reed. And Steven in Miami today, 6 earned on 8 hits and only 4 innings. So he's 1-2 on the year.
Check the highlights tonight. Giancarlo Stanton hit another home run. We'll have to see if it has landed yet.
Oof. He's now got 5. He homered in the 1st off Strasburg. 3-0 on Neuenhuis. Can you imagine that? You're Tony Gwynn at San Diego State. You got your Friday night starter is Steven Strasburg, and your closer is Addison Reed. And when Strasburg left for pro ball, Addison was a year behind Strasburg. Tony went to Addison Reed and said, "Oh, and what do you think about starting? We lost Strasburg." And he didn't want to do it. But he said, "Okay, team needs me." So that was his 1 year as a starting pitcher. And he said it really helped him. Because primarily before that, he was all fastball. I mean, you throw as hard as this kid does, you go in there and you just let it rip. But as a starting pitcher, he needed more than that. So he really did learn the slider, learn the changeup. And he said he didn't like starting, but it made him a much better pitcher. And he really looks at it as a blessing. That 1 year he was a starter at San Diego State.
I'll tell you another thing that was a blessing for both Strasburg and Addison Reed was having a manager like Tony Gwynn.
2 strikeouts in the inning for Addison Reed, and we'll head to the bottom of the 9th. It's 9-0 at Chase Field. scores, stats, audio, and a free MLB.TV game of the day. Download or visit the App Store. Visit dbacks.com today. Kansas City Monarchs hat, Brooklyn Dodgers Jackie Robinson jersey, and a vote for Buck O'Neil as a Hall of Famer. And Curtis Granderson, very involved in Major League Baseball's RBI program. And those are Curtis's shoes tonight. He's not in the game after banging into the right field wall last night. But Curtis builds baseball fields for kids in the inner cities. He does a tremendous job with baseball's RBI program. But obviously, the Jackie Robinson Day is very important to him. So we wanted to make sure we got that in for Curtis. Bottom 9 here.
His feet are probably the only thing that isn't hurting.
That's true.
Bruised knee, bruised ribs, bruised elbow. Really went hard into that right field fence last night, chasing that Miguel Montero drive.
Kyle Farnsworth, the new Met pitcher, he'll get an inning here, on for the 7th time and working to a 1.59 ERA. One of the hard throwers in baseball. And has been for a long time.
Velocity down a little bit in the early going this year. His average fastball right at 91 miles per hour. He's had seasons when he's averaged over 96, hit triple digits on occasion.
When I say Gold, you say Schmidt. Trying to get the Goldie chant going in the 9th. He's 1 for 3, a single in the 4th. Boy, Kyle Farnsworth, mention how long he's been around. Right now, he is second among active pitchers in career appearances. 863 times he's been out there. He trails only LaTroy Hawkins, who is now the closer in Colorado. 16 years in the big leagues.
Boy, to accumulate that many innings, one at a time or 2/3 of an inning at a time.
And it goes back to what Joe Borowski was talking about. Imagine all the times you're up and don't get into the game and all that stuff. He worked in 9 games this spring, a 5.40 ERA. He's done a good job for the Mets lately, 4 2/3 scoreless in his last 5 appearances. He's ahead on Goldie, 0-2.
Well, he will mix in an occasional slider, and he's been known to throw a changeup or two if he's facing a team for the 2nd or 3rd day in a row, just to give him something to look at. But 80% of the time, you're going to get heater from Kyle Farnsworth.
This is a matchup of 2 big dudes. Farnsworth is enormous, and Goldie presents a problem. So a big heavyweight matchup to open the 9th. 2-2. Right to right, and that's just the way things are going right now. Defensive highlight for the Diamondbacks, turned in earlier in the ballgame. It's our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. Mark Trumbo on the run in left.
It was a nice play, ball off the bat of a left-handed hitter, slicing away from him. Able to make the play, get the ball back in, and hold the runner at first base.
Miguel Montero 0 for 3. I want to thank Mark again for shooting our cup of coffee episode this morning. It makes for a long day for these guys, but they're great about it, and we appreciate it. So look for the Mark Trumbo and the Addison Reed Cup of Coffee shows coming up next month. We did one with Miguel Montero last year. That was a lot of fun. And this is a guy that could not get a job down in Venezuela, going from tryout camp to tryout camp. believed in himself, went everywhere. Every team looked at him. Most of them passed. Lines out to left. That's another case of Miggy hitting the ball well, but right at somebody.
Great approach, great contact, line drive, unfortunately right at Eric Young Jr. in left field, just like the Goldie line drive right at David Wright at third base.
Two well hit balls off Farnsworth, but 2 outs, and it's up to Aaron Hill. 12 hits for the Mets, 3 for the Diamondbacks. No TV on tomorrow afternoon's matinee, the series finale, then an off day Thursday. Then it's off to Los Angeles and Chicago to take on the Dodgers and the Cubs.
Watch his head stay right down on the ball this time. Pitch out over the plate and down. Tracks it nearly all the way to contact. Can't do much better than that.
Oh, and 2. Gets the souvenir with 2 outs in the 9th. Nothing like hanging in. So the Mets will with this win will get back to 500 on the year. They'll go to 7-7. They came in only 3 back of the Braves in the NL East. Tampa Bay Rays rained out in Baltimore. They've really had some issues. They lose Matt Moore now for the year with Tommy John surgery. Already without Jeremy Hellickson. Alex Cobb is out 4 to 6 now. That's an epidemic in Tampa Bay.
I mean, it's an epidemic around baseball this year. You almost need to make a reservation to get in and get Tommy John surgery. There's so many guys coming down with that elbow injury.
I don't know where Dr. Andrews finds the time. Patrick Corbin was in our booth over the weekend, and he said when he was down there, Jared Parker of the Oakland A's was down there at the same time for the same reason. Parker, much like Daniel Hudson there, having his second Tommy John surgery. So anytime you start feeling bad about, you lose Patrick Corbin, there's no question that's a punch in the gut. But look around at Oakland and Atlanta and Tampa Bay. I mean, these guys, some of these teams are losing 3/5 of their starting rotation. It's an epidemic. 0-2. Looking for answers. Diamondbacks with this loss will drop to 1-8 at Chase Field this year, and 1-10 at home. The 2 other games, of course, being in Sydney, which counted as Diamondback home games. But the number that concerns you is the 1-8 at Chase. There's the strikeout, and that's the ball game. Mets win it 9-0. And they take the first 2 games of this 3-game series. Finale tomorrow afternoon. Matinee here at Chase Field as the Diamondbacks are shut out for the 3rd time this season. And this is their worst shutout loss here at Chase Field since a 14-0 defeat against Atlanta back in July of 2007.
Boy, nothing more to do than get some Listerine and rinse out your mouth. Get the taste of this one out of your mouth and come back tomorrow and hope that's the day it all starts anew.
Final total.
9-0 your final. D-backs now 4-13 on the year. They've lost 5 in a row. Let's go out to center field now. And Jody Jackson. Jody.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Jody Jackson, Joe Borowski getting set for D-backs Live, the post-game show. It's brought to you by CenturyLink. And Joe, we've talked the last couple nights about not syncing up. Yeah. Well, I think tonight was maybe the biggest example of that, the offense getting shut out and the pitching really struggling.
Yeah, another tough night for the Diamondbacks all around. It was a total team effort. They couldn't get anything clicking. But we're going to look at what happened exactly tonight. Are there any quick fixes that can get this thing turned around?
I'll amend my comment. Starting pitching, actually the bullpen pitched pretty well tonight, but Bronson Arroyo had his difficulties. We'll have much more on that. Brad Steinke will be down in the clubhouse. He'll get reaction on this one. Bob Brenly will rejoin us from the booth here on our post-game show. It's coming your way right after the break.